Hi everyone, you're watching Tamit Saleh's Tennis Forum Part 2 for this week. If you haven't checked Part 1 out, which was about Novak Djokovic winning his 36th Masters 1000 in Rome, with a bunch full of stats about the big titles and all of that, please do go check that video out. But in this video, we are going to be looking at the live ATP rankings. Going into the French Open next week, we do have Hamburg this week, of course. We are going to be looking at the rankings, who needs what. Novak Djokovic now the outright number 2 player on the list. He's overtaken Pete Sampras. What's the exact date that he needs to be number 1 until to overtake Roger Federer, as well as who can stop him from this year's year-end number 1? Bunch of stats which I know you're going to love. So I hope you enjoyed this video, but here it begins. The rankings. Novak Djokovic gained 400 ranking points. He was a runner-up last year in Rome, but this year he won it. Of course, he wouldn't have lost any due to the new COVID-19 ranking system that the ATP has in place for this year, but it now puts him on 11,260 points. Rafa Nadal on second place on 9,850, Dominic Thiem on 9,125, and we are going to be focusing on these 3 players, the only players that can end the year as number 1. We're going to be looking into that. Then we have Roger Federer on 4th place, 6,630, still not back from injury. He won't be playing anymore this year. Daniil Medvedev in 5th, Stefanos Tsitsipas in 6th, Alexander Zverev in 7th, and Matteo Berrettini in 8th. Gael Monfils is in 9th place. He can overtake Berrettini this week in Hamburg with a good performance. Berrettini is not playing. However, it's not too crucial, as because Roger Federer isn't playing, the Gael Monfils in 9th place can expect that 8th seed. And what's important about that is it means that 8th seed, you don't play any of the top 1 to 7 before at least the quarterfinal stage. So it's a better draw being the 8th seed compared to being the 9th seed. And that's one spot that RBA will be looking into, because he is also playing in Hamburg. Now, he is currently 240 points behind Gael Monfils. So he has that chance to overtake Monfils and get that 8th seed for the French Open. So that's one thing to let's say look forward to from Hamburg. Now, the key point of this video, we are going to be focusing on the top 3 players and also some stats regarding what Novak needs for that elusive, as he likes to call it, the historic world number 1 record. It's a record that he's talked about many times, and it's one of his top 2 priorities, the other being the most slams. And tennis fans like us, when you're talking about who's the greatest, all of that, for me, there is no one significant stat that makes someone the greatest player of all time. You can't just base it on one stat or the other. It's a collective. And these 2 that Novak has mentioned, currently both held by Roger Federer, are 2 very, very important records in this whole GOAT debate. Now, if a player has both, for me, it still doesn't make them the GOAT unequivocally, but it's massive feathers in your cap. So we're going to be looking into that. Let's start off with the weeks at number 1. Roger Federer is 1st place on 310. Novak Djokovic now begins his 287th week as world number 1, which puts him only 23 behind Roger, really amping the pressure on that record now. Sampras on 286, so he's been overtaken by Novak now. What this means is, and a lot of you guys have been asking me on the comment section, what's the date? When does Novak overtake Roger? Things like that. So the date Novak Djokovic has to remain world number 1 until, in this stint, if he's going to do it, is the 8th of March 2021, which is the beginning of Indian Wells. So it doesn't include any performance or results in Indian Wells. So 8th of March 2021, if Novak Djokovic is still world number 1, having not lost it in that time period, he will become the number 1 player in terms of most weeks at number 1. Another key date to remember is the 21st of December 2020 this year. If Novak Djokovic can keep that number 1 until then, at least he breaks the 300 weeks mark, which will make him the 2nd player to do that. And yeah, 300 weeks as well, number 1, 21st of December 2020. We're now going to be looking at the top 3 players on our list: Novak Djokovic, Rafa Nadal, and Dominic Thiem, and the rest of the season, and how Thiem and Nadal can still reel in Novak, even though he's got a healthy lead right now, how they can still reel him in. So the three big tournaments left this year is the French Open, the Paris Masters 1000, Shanghai has been cancelled, and also the World Tour Finals. So these are the three tournaments left where there could be massive point swings. There are ATP 500s and 250s, however, I don't see any of them playing those. The only one that I can see is Dominic Thiem playing in the Austrian Open, his home country. However, he was the winner last year, so he can't gain any points from playing it this year. So yeah, there's no point gain to be had from Dominic Thiem at the Austrian Open. Looking at their current rankings, Novak Djokovic is on 11,260, Rafa on 9,850, Dominic Thiem on 9,125. What I'm going to do now is, so we've got three tournaments to play with: the French Open, Rome Masters, and Paris Masters, and the World Tour Finals. So I'm going to take away the World Tour Finals points because they're the only points that will drop in 2020. As you know, the ranking system means that players won't drop any points. They can only add to it with better performances from the previous year. So if you take away the World Tour Finals, Novak loses only 200 points. He only had one round robin win last year against Matteo Berrettini. Rafa Nadal loses 400 ranking points. Dominic Thiem loses 800. He reached the final last year with 2 round robin victories. This now puts Novak on 11,060, Rafa on 9,450, and Dominic Thiem on 8,325. That's if you take away the points from last year, because they're the only points that are going to drop. The rest, they're not going to drop. They can only be added to. Now, those three tournaments, French Open, Paris, World Tour Finals. Novak Djokovic is defending a semi-final appearance in France. From last year, he lost to Dominic Thiem. Rafa is defending a victory, so he can't gain any points in the French Open this year. Dominic Thiem is defending a runners-up spot, so he can gain 800 points at the French Open with a victory. I would just like to state at this point, I'm going to say the maximum points each player can get if they win all three of those tournaments from here on in. So I'll start with Dominic Thiem. If he wins the French Open, if he wins Paris, which would be a gain of 910 points as he's defending only a round 16 from last year, and then if he gets the full 1500 points from the ATP World Tour Finals, so he wins all round robin matches, this would put him on 11,535. If he doesn't win the French Open, you can say goodbye to any chances of him ending the year as world number one. So it could end very soon for Dominic Thiem, his hopes. But yeah, he has to win every single tournament now to get to 11,535, and he has to hope Novak doesn't do better. Rafa Nadal, even if he wins the French Open, he gains nothing. If he wins Paris, which currently I've just checked the schedules, he's not even scheduled to play in Paris. If he changes his mind, he can still play. But he is defending a semi-finals from last year. He didn't play the semi-final, which was against Denis Shapovalov last year. He retired before the match started. So yeah, he can gain 640 points there, and a flawless performance at the ATP World Tour Finals gets him a 1500. So that puts his max on 11,590 points. So Dominic Thiem's max is 11,535, Rafa 11,590. So basically, as long as Novak gets ahead of that, that's it. He's guaranteed the year-end number one. He's on 11,060 right now for Novak. So 535 points, or 540 points even, gets him over that line, which confirms the year-end number one. Novak Djokovic, he has 1,280 points to gain in France if he can win the French Open. A win in Roland Garros for Novak Djokovic confirms the year-end number one for him. If he even just reaches the final, it puts him on 11,540, which takes Dominic Thiem completely out of the equation. So yeah, for Dominic Thiem to be taken out of the equation, he can't win France, or Novak Djokovic reaches the final, and then Thiem is out the running. It's between Rafa and Novak. Novak is the defending Paris Masters 1000 champion, meaning he can't gain anything in Paris. And then in the World Tour Finals, he can have a flawless run of no defeats, and he would get the full 1,500 points. The key thing here is I don't think either Rafa or Dominic Thiem are now going to win all three big tournaments, and that's it. For me, it's just not gonna happen. So at this point, I'm 99% sure Novak Djokovic has the year-end number one confirmed. Even if not, he just needs to reach a final and then win one round-robin match at the World Tour Finals, and he's confirmed it. Even if he doesn't reach the final of the French Open, if he wins all three round-robin matches at the ATP World Tour Finals, then he's also confirmed it. Even if he wins two, he can win the semi-final. And this is saying that either of the other two are now just going to have a clean sweep for the rest of the season. I can't see it happening, but yeah, can you? So I hope this explains the situation for the year-end number one. For me, it's pretty much banked in for Novak now to finish the year as world number one, which would take him past the 300 weeks and put him in a very strong position to break that 310 weeks of Roger Federer early next year. I hope you enjoyed all the stats. I hope it made sense. For me, it makes sense, but I hope it made sense for you. So if you have any questions, please do drop them in the comment section. I'll try answer to my best capabilities. And we are going to turn our attention to the French Open next. I'm going to have a preview video once the draw is out. Let's see which half Dominic Thiem gets in. That's the $1 million question, really, going into the French Open. It's going to be different. I feel like the weather's going to be a bit cooler. They've got a roof now, so none of the, like the rain, or I know last year both semi-finals were very windy conditions. So I don't think we'll get any of that anymore with the roof now in place. But yeah, that's for my next video. This video was about the live ATP rankings and also what each player needs and the record. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, go watch part one as well, which is full of stats. And yeah, take care. See you very soon for the French Open coverage.